Hey everybody, TG Watkins here, and let's get into your daily five for today. All right, so a couple of things I wanted to address this morning as we're looking at this. I've actually made a few newsletters. If you guys go over to profitpilot.com, also there, some of the places I've been just mentioning this. I think that the market has been trying to basically hammer out a bottom in through here. We saw that not this last report for the CPI, because CPI PPI came out last week, and while they both did gap down, each day they did get bought back up. So it was some interesting price action to notice. The thing that was really noticing was the previous CPI, where we came out and the market went straight down for 3 or 4 days. It was leaked, something like that, and that might have been the near-term capitulation. Basically, that was a little bit of a surprise, I think, for the market about that inflation. That was when the Fed was really going to then raise interest rates 75 basis points instead of 50, and it just put us on a different course. And so there was a little bit of near-term capitulation. You could see that the markets got oversold to the outer extension 30 ATR. And ever since then, we've been in here just trying to hammer something out. It's been real choppy down below. But if we look here, this is a weekly chart on the right and a monthly chart on the left. And you could see last week, you see that nice, that candle pattern right there where price went all the way down to the lows and came all the way back up. And that is how the week ended. It's a fairly bullish signal as far as the candles go. And then what we can see, as far as I pulled this out the day before, but that's what we could see. We now have price breaking over past the weekly 8 EMA. And I would imagine that the next target for now should be something around the weekly 21. If we kind of draw a line like this from price, then maybe it goes just above the weekly 21. So that's kind of my first target. Let's kind of see if price go here, maybe about $415. And then we need to see if price is going to pull back a little bit or if it's just going to go sideways to up, because that's where there's going to be a decision point here. So maybe a pullback and then up, maybe continue up, whatever. But first target is kind of about the weekly 21, $415. And if we look at the monthly chart, the other thing that I wanted to point out is that we are starting to get a pretty big gap between price and the monthly 10. So we've had, price doesn't like to stay away from moving averages for too long. And so that the fact that we've had a pretty good fast descent like this tells me that there's starting to become a gap up here, and price will oftentimes revert and fill that gap. And so on a monthly time frame, that's a fairly good size gap. So I think that we should start expecting price to kind of start migrating up. The bear market is not over. I think this is just a reversion to the mean, a bounce in a bear market, stuff like that. And so we'll see if there are things we can take advantage of with that. So one of those things are if we look at DNMR. Now this is just an example of some of the things that I'm seeing out there that help show us that, well, there could be some stocks that are ready to move up. So if we again look at the weekly chart on the left here, you guys see the giant double bottom right in through here, and we've got a nice kind of consolidation pattern going on there. And on the daily chart, you can see double bottom, move up, double bottom, move up. And right in through here, we have price sitting on the daily 50 with the 8 over the 21. That looks pretty bullish to me, and we got into a position on this the day before, and it's moving up today. And you can see here on the hourly chart, we've got an uptrending hourly 200, and price has been holding that. There's also a bit of a wedge, so you can look at this and say, well, whenever price can break out either up or below, then that should be the direction. I'm looking for it to move up. So start looking around for stocks that primarily on the daily chart can get over their daily 50 and look ready to kind of move up if the market's going to be moving up. Then we come over here to Upwork, just showing you guys yet another example of this. And you got to also understand that stocks are kind of in their own universe. Some are doing, things are all over the place. And so while some stocks will be moving up with the market, some won't. But I want to show you that some stocks have been ahead of the market. So, and what I mean by that is, again, we have the weekly chart on the left here. And what we can see is, notice how the first stock I talked about was the S&P, and how I was saying that we should be looking for the S&P to go from the weekly 8 to the weekly 21. Well, notice how something like Upwork has already done that. So it's technically ahead of the market. It has already reached its weekly 21, which is kind of the same maneuver that I'm expecting the S&P to do. The S&P is down here breaking its weekly 28, and now we want to see it get to its 21. So imagine this is what I want to see the S&P to do. So the fact that something like Upwork has already done that and has pulled back and now is probably pulling back into support like this, This one looks like a more mature name that, as you can see, also is sitting on the daily 50, just like DNMR, along with an uptrending hourly 50. If this thing can continue to hold this support, well, then it should be one of the leaders or one of the names that are ready to run, or one just more developed as far as trying to make its way to the upside. Now, again, don't get married to these names. They will move up for a while and then they could all roll over again. Okay. They're also in bottoming patterns, so they could just be flagging. They could move up to an area and then run into resistance. These are all basically counter trend trades because they have been going from a very, very long-term downtrend, and they are only just now starting to turn and try and put in some bases and try to move up. So just remember, keep your head on a swivel and just make sure a name keeps working for the way you need it to work. As an example of names that are lagging and are not probably the best things to be looking at, here's just an example, APP. Notice here how it has been staying below its weekly 8 the entire time. Notice here how price just can't get past the daily 50. And notice how the hourly 200 is still in a downtrend. Now, of course, this could change today, could change tomorrow, could finally get over the daily 50, all that kind of stuff. But I just wanted to show you that while there are names like DNMR, Upwork, whatever, those things are already over their daily 50. They've already hit their weekly 21s. They've already have the hourly 200 uptrend. Names like APP, they're lagging. So maybe look at other names that are a little bit more developed, better, ready to launch. APP, not the greatest situation to be looking at, even though it might start moving, but it's one of the laggards. And then if we come over here to Google, Google had its stock split, so that might change its behavior a little bit, but I also just wanted to show you how, quite a few names that I'm seeing out there are also going. There's a lot of channel patterns like this, just seeing a lot of oscillation from low to high to low to high, just back and forth all over the place. And we've been seeing a lot of that. Now, hey, if that is your cup of tea, absolutely go for it. Find out where that low is, find out where the high is, and just trade it back and forth. Selling calls, selling puts, or just trading back and forth, whatever works for you. And then as far as that goes, I would say a lot of this stuff is just bear flags. Now, sure, maybe this thing is also hammering out a bottom, and maybe we will see Google eventually come up and hit the weekly 50. That's definitely a possibility, since this has been a very long-term kind of hammering out of a bottom, and you can see it's already hit its weekly 21. But other names are a little bit messier. Other names may not do anything. There are definitely possibilities that this could just keep hanging out sideways for a long time. So there are quite a few different patterns that are happening out there, quite a few different setups, and you just gotta kind of look at this and say, oh, I see what's going on. Channel, okay, and then you can kind of work with that. Now, of course, maybe one day it's going to come up here and then finally break out. Great, that could be a move. But in the meantime, just watch out for this really messy, choppy stuff. We've been seeing that with the S&P as well. All right, so then that'll bring us to the conclusion of our Daily 5 for today. Thanks for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed. Remember, if you want to find more information about me, you can come over to profitpilot.com, or you can click on any of these links. Remember, I do a twice a week, we're doing video newsletter, so I think a little bit more information gets conveyed across. And kind of the thing I've been talking about recently is, looks to me like the S&P wants to start making its way higher. What that might look like, how we handle it, and how we go forward with that. And then also, if you guys like how I talk about and teach about the markets and the Moxie indicator, you can come over to simplertrading.com/stockcharts-tg, and that's where you can find more information about my alert service, trading room, mastery, all the kind of stuff that I teach out there, and show you guys how I trade. So thanks again, and we'll catch you at the next one.
Hey guys, Dave Keller here with StockCharts.com. Thanks so much for watching our video. If you enjoyed it, and we hope you did, hit the like button right below. Also, we have so much new content every day. Consider subscribing to the channel. Just hit the subscribe button in the video or right below. Thanks for watching. Stay safe. Have a fantastic day.